You might think billionaires are built from money, but that's not true. They're built from mindset. Money was just the byproduct. It's not about being born into wealth or having an early advantage. It's about thinking differently, acting with intention, and making choices most people never consider. The difference isn't in talent or luck. It's in how they think, how they see the world, and how they respond to it. Right now, you're closer to that mindset than you think. Because the truth is, anyone can start thinking like a billionaire long before the money shows up. And the earlier you adopt this mindset, the sooner your life will start to reflect it. So what's the mindset that built billionaires? It starts with ownership. People who rise to extreme levels of success don't wait for permission. They take responsibility for everything: the wins, the losses, the progress, and the setbacks. They don't blame the economy, their boss, or their upbringing. They know that if they're not in control of their mindset, someone else is, and that's unacceptable. Ownership means looking at your current situation and saying, "This is on me," not with guilt, with power. Because if you caused it or tolerated it, you can also change it. Next comes vision. Billionaires don't think about the next week. They think in decades. They don't ask, "What feels good right now?" They ask, "What kind of future am I building?" Most people live reactively, always responding to what's urgent. But high-level thinkers live strategically. They plan, they anticipate, they play the long game. They know that what feels hard today often leads to freedom tomorrow. And while most people are busy trying to look successful, billionaires focus on becoming valuable. They don't chase status, they create solutions. They see problems as opportunities. Every product, every company, every breakthrough you see came from someone who saw what was broken and decided to fix it better than anyone else. That's leverage, and leverage creates wealth. Another crucial piece: relentless curiosity. Billionaires never stop learning. They're obsessed with information, but not just for the sake of knowing more. They want insight. They want patterns. They ask better questions because they're more interested in answers that change the game than answers that sound impressive. They read, they study, they observe. Because knowledge applied correctly is a competitive advantage. Then there's resilience. Most people quit when it gets hard. Billionaire thinkers don't. They expect resistance. They know the process is supposed to test them. Setbacks don't scare them. They study failure, learn from it, and adjust. They understand that temporary pain is the price of long-term power. And speaking of power, one thing billionaire minds understand is that time is more valuable than money. Money comes and goes. Time doesn't. So they protect their time with the same intensity most people protect their paycheck. They delegate, they automate, they eliminate. They don't waste time proving points, chasing distractions, or arguing with people who aren't aligned. They move with clarity because they know time spent in confusion is time lost forever. But don't get it twisted. Billionaire mindset isn't just about work. It's about alignment. These people have clear principles. They understand what matters most and organize their lives around those priorities. It's not hustle without intention. It's effort with precision. They train their minds like athletes train their bodies, daily, deliberately, and without excuses. Now, let's talk about belief. Billionaire thinkers believe they can bend reality. Not because they're arrogant, but because they understand how influence and vision work. They believe in possibilities most people never even consider. And because they believe, they act. And because they act, they learn. And because they learn, they grow. The mindset comes first, always. Unlet fear stop their momentum. They don't let doubt keep them stuck. It's not that they never feel those emotions. They just refuse to be ruled by them. When others panic, they pause. When others complain, they create. When others wait, they move. And they move with intensity. They know half effort brings half results. So when they commit, they go all in. Not recklessly, strategically. They understand risk. They calculate it, they respect it, but they don't avoid it, because risk is where growth lives, and staying safe is the fastest way to stay average. Now here's something you rarely hear. Billionaire thinkers fail often, and publicly. They launch ideas that flop. They make investments that crash. They hire the wrong people, but they don't dwell. They reflect, they refine, and they try again. Failure isn't an identity to them. It's feedback, it's data, it's necessary. And maybe most importantly, they surround themselves with people who stretch them. They don't hang out with complainers or critics. They're not interested in shallow conversations or cheap praise. They want challenge. They want ideas. They want people around them who push, not pacify. Because growth doesn't happen in echo chambers. It happens in rooms where comfort isn't the goal, progress is. So how do you adopt this mindset for yourself? You start small. You start where you are. You take radical ownership of your time, your energy, and your focus. You ask better questions. You stop complaining. You stop needing permission. You start building skills that solve real problems. You study patterns. You read every day. You eliminate distractions. You surround yourself with people who are doing more, thinking bigger, aiming higher. And every day you act like the future version of you is already watching, because that version exists. The one who thinks clearly, acts decisively, leads with vision, builds with discipline. That version is already inside you. It's just buried under doubt, noise, and distractions. The only way to uncover it is to live like it matters, to think like your time is priceless, to choose habits that reinforce who you want to become. You don't need to be a billionaire to think like one. But if you start thinking like one, you'll build a life that reflects it, in results, in impact, in fulfillment. Start with your next decision, then the one after that. Stack them, repeat them, and soon your life won't just change. It'll compound into something extraordinary. Because mindset isn't just how you think, it's how you live. And you are one mindset shift away from building something most people will never understand. Not because you're lucky, but because you're disciplined enough to think differently. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let your results do the talking. Because while the world waits for signs, you'll be building one move at a time. This is the mindset that built Billionaires. And now, it's yours to use.